Greetings to everyone. We are DET undergraduate final year students of the University of Buea. This is a presentation of course code DET 504 titled Introduction to Educational Management and Planning, supervised by our course instructor, Dr. Ebert Frederick Ashu. Two of us are going to present on Unit 9 titled Management of School Finances by my coursmate Njuah Ernestine and myself, Ernestine Muluh. There are three main objectives to be presented from this unit: definition of school financial terms, financial responsibilities in school, budgeting, and accounting procedure. School finance. It refers to the system of funding and managing resources for educational institutions, a school, to support the educational mission and operations. Financial management. Financial management is the planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the financial activities of an organization. The educational sector or any other organization will not succeed if finances is badly managed. We are now going to the first objective of our unit, definition of some key financial terms. We are beginning with budget. It is the expected total revenue and expenditure, especially for a period of 1 year, based on the estimate of the expected income or revenue. Vote controller is a person who has responsibility for controlling the expenditure or the money allocated for his or her unit. The principal for the secondary school and the head teacher for the primary sector. Allocation. This is the amount of money assigned for each item of expenditure. Revenue collector. A revenue collector is the person who is authorized by the head of the school to collect money on his or her behalf. The authority to incur expenditure, which is a sort of item allocation given to the one in charge of expenditure following a particular review or different expenditures. Adjustments voucher. It is a document used to transfer revenue from one unit to another. Empress. This is usually a small amount of money given to the head of the unit to spend on items for which vouchers cannot be prepared immediately to the sub-treasurer for payment. Second objective, financial responsibilities in school. The financial transactions in secondary schools in Cameroon are carried out by the principal, the bursar, and the store accountant in some cases, especially in public schools. In the primary sector, the head teacher and in some cases, the PTA president are responsible for financial transactions, equally in public schools. Some financial responsibilities of the principal, bursar, and head teacher. We are going to begin with the principal. He or she is the vote controller. He signs the vouchers. He authorizes all expenditures and contracts. And he or she is in charge of verifications carried out by the bursar or the store accountant. The bursar. He or she is responsible for the collection of all financial dues, pays for any expenditure incurred by the school, responsible for the movement of funds in deposit accounts together with the principal. The head teacher. The head teacher collects and pays the incentives of teachers, pays insurance for all registered pupils. He or she carries out payments of PTA staff, if any, buys school items for ID learners. He pays for the clearing of the school campus and pays the school carekeeper. We are now going to continue with the third part of our objective, which is going to be presented by my coursmate Enestine.
We shall be looking at budgeting and accounting procedures in the last objective of these units. Under this section, we are going to discuss the sources of school revenue, school budgeting and purchasing, financial accounting, and finally the supervision and control of expenditure. Some sources of school funds and revenue for most institutions includes direct allocation of funds and grants from the states, school fees, tuition or fees allocation, grants from philanthropic organizations or individuals. School budgeting. For school budgeting, the estimated expenditure is based on the expected revenue of the institution. It is usually prepared for a period of 1 year. Public institution budget is usually prepared by experts at the level of the ministry, who is in turn submit their respective budget to the Ministry of Finance for final coordination. However, as a school head, you will be expected to have a budget for your school, established in accordance with that of your employer. In this light, you should be guided by the following suggestions. First of all, you draw up the school budget after consultation with those concerned. For example, in the technical high school, you draw the budget with the assistance of all management staff, technical staff, and the chief of works. You will have to prioritize some needs by working with the various departmental heads. In drawing up a school budget, you have the interest of the learners at heart, making sure you make adequate use of the available resources put at your disposal. We shall be looking at purchasing. What is purchasing? By purchasing, we mean the process of buying school supplies and equipment. Designated persons will need to do a lot of purchasing, such as stationery, furniture, laboratory equipment, chemicals, and many other needed school items. The head of the school, be it the principal or the head teacher, will not have to do purchases because in most schools, the function is delegated to store accountant, the bursar, or designated teachers in the primary sector. However, make sure the following guidelines are respected because, after all, the head is ultimately responsible for the financial transaction in a school. Those who use the material should have a say in the selection of materials. Users of equipment or supply should have the right quantity and quality of the equipment at the appropriate time. An appropriate record of all purchasing should be kept and should be open for inspection as need arises. Remember that the school stakeholders expect the greatest possible return for every franc spent. This return is to be seen through the success of the learner. School financial accounting or statements of account. Very important in finance. It is the record keeping required to provide necessary information about income and expenditure, showing the net deficit or surplus done usually yearly. Some accounting documents include local purchase order book, payment of voucher form, register of voucher book, interest expenditure book, bank forms, insurance forms, revenue receipt book, salary voucher, for example, in private schools, and adjustment vouchers. Finally, supervision and control of expenditure. It should be noted that as head of a school, you are not an accountant, but you should be able to supervise the staff responsible for school accounting. Below are some suggestions which you may use to be able to exercise control over staff and their activities. As a head of a school, you are to supervise to see that the correct accounting procedures laid down by the financial board is strictly followed. Make sure fund is not overspent above the quote amount on any item or rubric. Let the interest be properly maintained and used for the purpose for which it was given. Should any allocation prove inadequate, you should call up the accountant for explanation before making any augmentation. Above all, make sure the limited amount allocated to you is used wisely. The interests of the learners should be at the center of all school expenditure.
After listening to the presentation from us, we can conclude that effective financial management is critical for the sustainability and growth of educational institutions. It ensures that schools can provide quality education while maintaining financial health. We have been Enestine, Muluh, and
Njuah, Ernestine.
thanks for listening. Bye bye.